White people did not exist before 1681. Again, white people did not exist on planet Earth until 1681. Number two, any claim that this group called white people, any claim that that group is rooted in biology or derived from genes or biology or is innate.
So yeah, y'all, as a result, I had to go check out, this information and be like, so what do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how the memes be. But long story short, I already kind of know who I am because the thing is this, like I'm always finding out new things, but my great 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 grandmother is full blood Cherokee. Her name is Mamaw. You know what I'm saying? And up in Louisiana, my last name is Lockett. I'm not saying just Lockett's out there, but specifically my family in Jeanerette, like Baton Rouge, were well known. You know the street signs where it might say like Martin Luther King Boulevard or whatever, or Los Angeles County. Like it literally says Lockett, like my last name. And so like the reason why I'm saying all of this stuff is because I had to look into like this white black thing and come to find out, bro, like really stay with me. Like come to find out, bro, nigga, we is living a whole fucking lie. Like our whole land is stolen, our identity is fucking switched with other people who migrated here, and we're at the bottom of the fucking totem, bro. And it's been this way for hundreds of years, bro. I had to wake up to some shit. So stay tuned and let me explain this to y'all real quickly. I'm not going to take 30 minutes. I'm going to try to do this all in 10. And then at the end of this video, we're going to have some videos from other countries of, like the news channel admitting to black people, like modern day African Americans, like today, are actually indigenous to America. And then on top of that, I had people in my last video on YouTube talking about like look up the statues. It's about the natives, the first natives in the Americas and what they look like. And it's a black statue, and like obviously black ain't a thing like white, but just bear with me, y'all. This is the receipts and the facts right here. So basically, we got to start off is when did the government establish itself in America? Because this is where everything first started. I got to show y'all the dots. So like, boom, right here. I'm just gonna say it started in the 1800s because it's easier. They had started constructing things in like the late 1700s. You know what I'm saying? But then the early 1800s was when everything took place. So all I did right here was I just looked up when did Canada establish their first government, and look at the date 1867. So mind you, we need to go back to the early 1800s and see what taking place. But before we do that, let me show y'all another crazy thing that I found out. So like look at this right here. This is a US Canadian map. So the reason why I'm pulling this up because like I'm telling y'all these is dots to connect. So like watch this. This right here is just America right here. Like, let me zoom out real quick. My bad. So like, can I move this? I can't really move it. So obviously we know what America look like. You're gonna get the Washington, the Oregon, the Montana, the North Dakota. There's a whole imaginary line right there. But my thing is, what I just said, an imaginary line, bro, this is really one continent. Like one country right here. Like, bro, this is crazy. So basically what happened, y'all could look into this yourself, but you see where it says British Columbia right there, right? And then you see it says Washington, DC, Washington right there. Well, what the Europeans did, they came over to this land where the natives were at, and you have the British Columbia, they established one government there, and I just showed y'all it was in the 1800s, right? And then in America, we had the Washington D.C., but that was like the early 1700s. So that shows that they had came to like this side of the country first, Washington, and then after on, like later on, came over to the to Canada and named it the British Columbia. So there's literally just two dots controlling this whole fucking country, bro. Like from America to Canada, and really just this whole entire landmass. Like I'm like, look at that, bro. I'm talking about Toronto, everything, bro. So yeah, before I get out this map, basically I just want to say that in Alaska, this is where the Eskimos migrated. They migrated all through Alaska, all the way through Canada. They came all the way down to the United States, and then obviously we have Mexico. And what I come to find out was that, my Mexican friend told me that how you get a Mexican is basically like a native and a European, and that's how you get Mexico. Or I don't want to say Mexico, but Mexicans. And Mexican is not even a real race, it's just where people live. They live in Mexico, so you're Mexican, like you're a Californian. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, too, we do have the East Asians. They did migrate all the way over from like this is just all America. This is just the America Canadian map. But if I show y'all a different map, they will, let me see if I can click that, and nah, it's not gonna happen. So basically, if we keep going over, then you're gonna find like Africa. After Africa, it's gonna be like China, Russia, and that's what I'm talking about, like the Caucasus Mountains where the Neanderthals resided at. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically where the other side of the East Asians migrated all the way from Africa and Japan, China, the Caucasus Mountains, passed through Africa, and then supposedly traveled up to southern America and all the way up past Mexico and somehow migrated all through the United States. So there's 2 points of people that they're trying to label like indigenous to America. You see what I'm saying? When in fact, there was already people here who are native who taught them spirituality because, for example, when you look at the like Alaska, there's no grass, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of ice. And so what they have to eat is just a meat diet. So if you are in tune with like spirituality, you're in tune with like the animals and nature itself and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, you can still kind of somewhat consume meat, but there's certain ways how we go about things. You see what I'm saying? And like when you look at the East Asians, because it's just two different people trying to take, it's like two different people with two different identities coming to America, like migrating. This is their story. And then what they did was they created a new identity, which is called Native American. But that's also false because, like I said, was there was already native tribes here, and when they migrated, we didn't push them aside or nothing. We accepted them. We just showed them the correct way of living off the land, living with nature. We taught them spirituality and everything. And a lot of people was gonna hate it, but like I'm just saying, like, just think about this, bro. So if they migrated from Alaska, go to Alaska and see if spirituality is there. Like you're gonna see that they were just really just slaughtering animals and eating it, and that's fine. But then the harsh weather came and they had to migrate over. And then when you look over to the East Asians, look at them today. Yeah, they still have somewhat of a spirituality, but I feel like the people who had the biggest spiritual growth, I would say, would be the Egyptians, and they're not technically the natives, but when you understand why they were so connected with the spiritual stuff is because the sun god Ra, like they had a treaty literally with the spirits, the gods. You see what I'm saying? And it and it allowed them to reign and become that this strong. You know what I'm saying? So like we're just gonna keep it pushing, man, because that's information for another video. So this is how they changed our identity, and this is how they stole our land. This is how they fucked us up right here. So right here, it says that the census began in the 1790s. Y'all see that? And barely in starting in the 2000s, we could select more than one race. Ain't that kind of funny? Like this is crazy, bro. So when you're not even able to select your real ethnicity, and now, you know what I'm saying? Like say 100 years later, you're able to select it. That's kind of crazy, bro. That's kind of crazy. And then like you got to think about the generations born in between. You know what I'm saying? And the stuff that they teach us in school, it's just wrong. So the census began in 1790. You guys are with me right here, right? And so it talks about free persons and colored persons and slaves. And the reason why this is important because there was African people on this land that were slaves, but we were not slaves. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep going. So it says 1850. So we're zooming up past the 1800s, 50 years into 1850. You feel me? And so it says 1850 to 1880. Basically, what the census was, it was just only white and then black, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? Then they had mulatto right there. You see what I'm saying? Then in the 1850, you see what I'm saying? It started to go into mulatto. And mulatto was just, and Chinese and Indian, as you can see. And Indian is not like the natives. This is just for like Indians in India and stuff like that. And that was also added in the data form. So like, let me just skip real quick because y'all got to see, just pay attention to the dates right there. So it says in the 1850s to 1800s, like for the census, like this is the census thing. Like, look at this, man. It says that people were only able to use codes and like codes such as W for white. You see that? And B for black. And then M for mulatto. Like that was it right there, right? And then beginning in 1850, in the data item was labeled color. You know, so basically they changed us from black to color. But I just really want to focus on black people real quick because first of all, white did not exist until they created this in America. White and then black. It's not about genetics, it's about your skin complexion. You know what I'm saying? And then that's where the one, like I'm gonna pause it real quickly. And that's how the one on drop rule became a tool of white supremacy. And it's not even a I don't want to be like, oh, it's white supremacy, blah blah blah. But this is a real thing. Like how you have to identify yourself with the census. And it starts off by talking about the census, you see? Like, and this is just my spiritual downloads, my intuition, my ancestors just leading me on giving this knowledge to y'all. And like, I'm not trying to act like anything that I'm not, but like, look at this, bro. It's talking about it. So basically, we're gonna go back to the census real quick, but before we do that, the one drop rule was just basically your skin complexion. If you were dark enough to claim black, then yeah, you were basically black, and you couldn't do nothing about it. And if you marked anything other than black, you know, then you would have to be fined about $500, and you had to do 1 year in prison. So boom, I just showed y'all how we just went from black to Negro, and now we're in the colored part right here because in the 1930s right here, like I showed y'all, it says let me just read it for y'all. In the 1930s, there were specific instructions that used the term Negro. So black, Negro, and colored. And it says persons who were mixed white and Negro blood were to be counted as Negro. So basically, that has something to do with like the blood type right there, but let's just keep reading and you're going to see what I'm talking about. So it says, no matter how small, look, it says, no matter how small the share of Negro blood, this so-called one-drop rule of variations of it appeared in the census instructions beginning in the 1870s. So like I had to try to tell y'all, man, with the census and the one drop rule, like this is a big thing because if you do this wrong, 1 year of prison time. Not only that, you're being fined $500, and like we in 2023, you can make $500 in the paycheck, hopefully, but in the 1800s, $500 is a lot of money right there. You see what I'm saying? And I could pull that information up for y'all too, but I feel like y'all should look up that like for yourselves. You know, y'all gotta do your own research. But like I just want to show y'all, man. So like we're gonna keep reading. It says persons who were mixed with white Indian were to be counted as Indian. So if you're a black with like say if you have black skin tone, you know what I'm saying, like complexion, but you were also like an Indian, you had to be labeled fucking colored. And if you were a white, let me pull it up right here. It says if you were mixed, and it doesn't say if you were a white Indian. It said if you were a mixed white Indian were to be counted as an Indian, except that the percentage of Indian of the blood that was very small, or where he or she was regarded as white in the community. Any persons who was white and colored was to be counted according to the colored race. So like if you were white and colored, so you would have to be mixed, right? You were still colored, aka you were black, aka you were a Negro. And these are still not identifying your true genetics, like your blood type. You see what I'm saying? And then like the crazy thing is, bro, these are years going by. Like years going by, flying by, bro. We in the 1930s right now, bro, and they calling people colored for a race. You see what I'm saying? And then you see the right here, like I'm even gonna zoom down a little bit more. You see the Mex, bro? They just got something established for the Mexicans in 1930, and then that's still wrong because if you living in Mexico, you're a Mexican. Even if you're black, white, no matter what race you are, it's like you living in California. You're a Californian. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna keep going back I'm not keeping up with everything on this census thing because I'm keeping up mainly with my people, but I did find this kind of strange, like literally how they said they created a term for Mexicans, like Mex for Mexicans, right? And then literally in 1940, we just gonna go right back down. This is was in the 1930s, so this is 10 years later. It says in 1940, the only changes was elimination of Mex category, and Mexicans were to be listed as white unless they were definitely Indian or some other race than white. So Mexicans couldn't even identify as, you see what I'm saying? Like they got rid of Mexican because really it's really just like the Hispanics that live in Mexico, and like they'd be like, I'm a Mexican, because they're proud to be a Mexican. So when other races look at them, they'd be like, oh, those are the group of Hispanics, they're Mexican. You see what I'm saying? Like they're like, we think that that's an actual race, but it's not. But the crazy thing is, bro, they took that away and they made everybody identify as white. So like when you look at the Eskimos and the East Asians, they all identified as white. And I'm sorry we got to stick here for so long, but this is the main part right here of how we got our identity changed. Because when you look at not even reparations, right? Just look at the Indians and like their how they get the tribal money every month and shit. Bro, so much has been stolen. Now look at the land, how the land was the Indians, bro. So much of our shit has been stolen. Then when they talk about the 5 million Indians that were slaughtered and shit like that, bro, so many of our people were slaughtered. And now today, bro, everybody's supposed to be waking up, but they not really waking up to the real shit. You know what I'm saying? So like we're gonna keep on going real quick. So right here, I told y'all 1940 they eliminated the word Mex. This is all right here, elimination of Mexican. So we're just gonna go to 1950. Like I said, another 10 years, bro. Another fucking 10 years. As you can see, we have white, W, Negro, Neg. Mind you, it was just colored there. It was just colored there. In the 1920s, before the 1920s and the 1800s, we were black. You see what I'm saying? And now Negro, Neg, right here, as you can see. Then they got Indian, and like you notice, you cannot select multiple races until the early 2000s. So yeah, it was 1950 right there, and before we did the 1940s, so just another 10 years later, we got 1960, and as you can see, what they did was it was pretty much the same, but it says a note that black did not appear on the form. So like I'm trying to tell y'all, like they're changing our identity. This is basically everything that they're changing. Like they fucked around with some people shit, adding their ethnicities onto the census. But when it specifically came to, the modern day African Americans, they changed us from being native to African American and black and negroid and negro and just all types of shit. So like now in 2023, our whole entire identity is lost. Like we think we're African American, and now that connects you to Africa. Now you think you from Africa. You see what I'm saying? When in fact we were here all along, you know? And like there was Africans who were enslaved that did come from Africa and stuff like that. They were here with us, you know. For you to think that every black person, or I should just say this, for you to think that every person with black complexion skin, as far as like brown, like black with racist Europeans want to classify as African American. Think about this, bro. Haitians, Jamaicans, Dominicans, African Americans, and even Africans. We're all different. We have different cultures, but we have similar skin tones, but they're all different, you know? But when you have to go by a census that a government is constructed on the land that you're living upon, like, and if you don't follow these rules, you could be fined or face prison time. Now you have to select these things, and when you take part of these things, you know, a lot of information is lost, like during all these times, you could just say, why didn't you just focus on everything and make sure y'all had y'all shit? But like during all these times, bro, we had Black Wall Street, we have a lot of fucking slavery, we had a lot of things happening that shifted our fucking focus. You see what I'm saying? And when it comes to like things of people in power, like nowadays, today, we could step into the fucking the offices and take up power and stuff like that. Back in those days, we couldn't even do that. Like when the census first began, only white people was able to take part of that. You see what I'm saying? So like now, I just showed y'all how we went from fucking we went from black and we went to colored, and then it was negro, and then there was a negroid, and then now we're African American. We're gonna have to show y'all that right now. So the African American part. So yeah, finally in the year 2000, which a lot of people were born around this time, the younger generation. I was born in the 90s. So, I thought I was African American this whole time till I had to do this research. But come to find out, this is where African American first appeared. I'm not even gonna cap. Look at this. Black or Negro became Black African American or Negro, making its first or marking its the first appearance of African American on the census form. All right, up next, I would like to talk about the Mexican American War. And the reason why we have to talk about this is because it connects to the Trail of Tears. Because during this time, then when the Europeans established, like, I don't want to say the British Columbia because they established that, yes, but it's mostly about what happened in America. We have the Washington area, and then they just constructed the Washington D.C. like the White House and shit. And basically, they tried to start building maps and stuff like that. And when they built the maps, America, like the United States, they had California, and California used to be a part of Mexico, a few other states as well. So, like, that's why the Mexican American Wars took place. I can go down here and show you guys a lot of things that happened with the Mexican American Wars, but pay attention to the dates. It says that the American troops in April 25th, 1846. Mind y'all, I told y'all the 1800s with the census. You see what I'm saying? This is all taking place. So, this is when the Mexican American War started. I would say about 1850. So yeah, all I did was look up the Mexican American War land that was gained, and it's gonna show you right here. These are imagery right here. But they took a lot of states, man. Like California was not a part of the United States. They tried to take over like Texas. Let's see, they tried to take over Utah. Well, they did take it over. Utah, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico. Like seriously, this is where they took over all this stuff. So like this is the land right here that was part of Mexico. Mexico used to be bigger, and like that's why the Mexican Americans war started in the first place. Now, my next part I would like to connect is why is this important to the Trail of Tears? All right, so here after the Mexican American Wars, or I just want to say technically during, but really after. What happened was this. I read a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna just tell you guys what I read. So pretty much the Europeans were saying, while we're warring with these Mexicans, you see what I'm saying, for these lands, y'all better not get involved. And if you get involved, we're gonna push you aside. So the black natives were getting involved. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And this is why we got the shorter stick of today, right? And then the other people who were converted into native, you know what I'm saying? As far as like the Eskimos and the East Asians, they cooperated. So let me show y'all something. It says the Trail of Tears pushed aside. That's all I looked up because when I read it, I mean, I didn't read it off the History Channel. It would show purple, but like I'm just gonna pull this up because all the research on my computer. But pretty much during the Trail of Tears, it says a push factor because it says was it a push or pull. I found this kind of interesting. But like when I told y'all the land was taken away, listen to this. A push factor of the Trail of Tears would be that the Indian land was being overran by new settlers. So new settlers, the Indians was pushed aside. And where the fuck did they get pushed aside to? You know what I'm saying? And like I already did the research. They said Mississippi, but let me go ahead and confirm this for y'all. And as you can see, the land is confiscated. So bear with me. We're gonna go to the next one. So now all I did was look up where did the Indians get pushed up. Let me just go ahead, autocorrect. Boom, and this even pops. So it says, where did Indians get pushed during the Trail of Tears? Just so you can see. Simple question, right? And I already told you it was Mississippi, right? But here's a little bit more detailed information. Between the 1830s Indian Removal Act and 1850, the U.S. government used forced treaties and or U.S. Army action. So like they was using the military for us, bruh. They ain't using like police officers, National Guards, and that's still like overboard. But nigga, they using the whole fucking military on us, bro. And it says the U.S. Army action to move about 100,000 American Indians living east of the Mississippi River westward to the Indian Territory, what is now Oklahoma. Now they try to say that it was started in Oklahoma or whatever, but y'all gotta understand it was like a huge ass push, and the reason why California had a lot of gold at the time too. And this is how you fund your armies and stuff like that. So they had pushed all the black or dark colored natives all the way south, towards the Mississippi River, Oklahoma, like Louisiana, Texas, all that shit right there. And they allowed the fair skinned natives and Hispanics and everybody else to stay and just claim white. And I showed y'all that in the census, you know? So now today in the year 2023, you know, if I tell you I'm not African American, you're gonna think I'm crazy, I'm delusional, I'm some conspiracy fucking scientist or some shit like that, man. When in fact, I just really do real life knowledge and I just be trying to show it to y'all. And then the number one thing is this: why are we even being treated like this? You know what I'm saying? But like, I got to keep on going, y'all. This is just the Trail of Tears, just to let y'all know. California, I just told you I was in California. They got pushed all the way from California and the states above California all the way south, man. They just tried to wipe it clean and just make it white because this is like kind of like the best areas in the United States. So yes, with the Trail of Tears, pretty much, it says that the Trail of Tears is the name given to the forced migration of the Cherokee people. This like my people right here. People from their ancestral lands in Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and North Carolina to new territories west of the Mississippi River. So, like, a lot of people is going to want to know, what are the new territories of the Mississippi River? This is all you literally have to do, bro. Like, it's so simple to get my research and knowledge. Like, you got to ask the right questions and then really just web search it. Right, so right here it says the most important operations west of the Mississippi River occurred in what is generally known as the Trans-Mississippi Theater. The Trans-Mississippi included states such as Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, or that's Kansas, Arkansas. That's kind of weird that they said it like that. Missouri and parts of the Indian Territory, which is now Oklahoma. I know I was calling that word like Arkansas, but it says Arkansas. Um, I mean, I normally know it as Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? So I did look that up, and it's pretty much the same thing. Arkansas and Arkansas is literally the same thing. So my bad for the little tongue twister mixer upper, but like, yeah, there's people there. It's on the borderline of Texas and everything. Just a quick little, you know what I'm saying? You know how you open up your little Snapple, your little drink, and then you see the bottle cap and it's like a little fun fact. I guess this is a little fun fact right here. So this is the end of the whole fucking shabam right here. And these is my facts and these is my receipts. Listen, American Indian. We are on a website just to look at the population, as you can see right here, Native American population, world population. This is a I want to say this is a government website, but I could be wrong. But this is one of those websites the government will use to keep accurate, you know. And as you can see, it says the Native American population by state 2023. So this is accurate, guys. Real quickly, I want to show y'all something real quick. So in the Trail of Tears, they said that they pushed the natives, right, to the south, right? So I went out my way to go look at the stats real quick. So we're going to go ahead and do this shit real quick, all right? So this is where the American Indians are at. They're located, the modern day, not black people, the modern day Eskimos and East Asians. Look at this. So Alaska, this is where they migrated from in the first place. 20%. Okay. Then they say Oklahoma, right? That's 13%. That's still kind of high, bro. Not gonna lie, that's the second highest on the list in America, bro. In America, okay? Then you have New Mexico. Hold on, wait a minute. New Mexico, bro. And then look at the population, it's 10%. Now, after that, bro, y'all don't even have 10% of people there. That's kind of wild to me. But we're going to keep going because we got to look at the South, right? Let's look at the South real quick and see how many people is in Louisiana and stuff like that we looked up, right? So in Oregon, Wyoming, we're in the 3% already. Arizona, 5%. North Dakota, 6%. We're doing pretty bad right now as we go down to the South, right? California, there's only 2%, bro. Modern day natives, right? Let's go to the South real quick. Louisiana, 1.33. Missouri, 1.33. Rhode Island, Vermont, DC, Texas, Alabama, New York. Like, I mean, let's just go up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Minnesota. Look at this shit, bro. Nebraska. It's only 1%, bro. This is Mississippi. 0.80. Didn't they just get pushed to Mississippi? Like, I know people can move around and shit. But when y'all get pushed there, bro, y'all gonna start, y'all just settled there. You gonna have some babies, build a house and shit. Then y'all might migrate again, but people still gonna stay. Why is it like not even 1% there? All right, y'all. We on my PC right here. Excuse the mess right here. I got my jewelry right here and everything, other stuff as well. You're gonna see that, but just pay attention to this right here. What I want to show y'all, this is Canada right there, right? This is Canada. So like we have NT stands for the Northwest Territories. I have friends there. This is Alaska. This is where they migrated from, as you can see. And then it says Yukon and British Columbia. And crazy thing, Washington, D.C. is just District of Columbia. Like literally. They're very much connected and they're right next to each other. And these two people control this whole entire landmass, bro. Literally. And I believe all it is too. I could be wrong, but anyways, let's go back to Canada real quick. What we're gonna do is we did the population of the natives, right? And it was pretty low in the south, although we were just told in the Trail of Tears that they were pushed towards the south in the Mississippi River. So here we go right here with the native population for, let's see, this is for the Northwest Territories. As you can see here, this is where I'm getting it. Northwest Territories. Gonna click on that so you can get it. And it shows you Northwest Territories. So as you can see, Northwest Territories, there is about, where did I find this? There's about there's a lot of people there. I'm gonna just tell you, it says 50.7% of the population of the indigenous people of Alberta. The reason why I looked this up again is because when we look at Alberta, watch, Canada, I think Alberta is right here, the AB. Alberta, right? So Alberta, as you can see, this is really just about 6.5% of the population. But there's a lot of natives here, and this is the different type of tribes. This is 1% of the Inuits, and the rest of the people as well. So we're gonna close out of this tab, and we're gonna go to the next one. This one is talking about, let's see, this one is talking about the Indian population in Yukon, right? So we're gonna go look over here. Like, just bear with me, guys. I did all of this shit. I'm gonna just breeze through it, but I just want y'all to see Yukon is just right here. Sorry about that. Back out of that. Yukon is just right here. So I look at the population here, and there's still only about 7.5%, as you can see right there. Okay, now bear with me. We're gonna close out of this tab again. And just so y'all can see, man, this the British Columbia, this is the one I was telling y'all about as well. Let's go look and see how many people is there. Surprisingly, there wasn't like that many people. See, BC is British Columbia. This is in Canada. You see what I'm saying? So let's see. There was literally, I think there was like 1 or 2%. But it makes sense. Europeans, oh, there it goes right here, 2%. Y'all? It's about 100 degrees in California, so I got my fan on. But this is my comment section of a video that I did a while ago. Timo got knowledge, that's me, obviously. But somebody was mentioning that they had our stuff in the museum, an emerald cluster from 1724. And they say now they say more, but they now admit that the statue and others like it are based on images of indigenous people in America. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over there and look at that real quick, y'all. So this is the indigenous statue of the Moors. To me, that looked like an Indian with a bow. I mean, it looked like what he's wearing on his pants right here is feathers at the bottom, and at the top as well. His hair is curly. I mean, look, I mean, it looked like a native, bro. Like, I can't even make this stuff up. It really do. You might say, oh, it's an African, but not all black people are fucking African. Like I said, Dominicans, Haitians, Jamaicans. But like, yeah, supposedly in other countries, they're now admitting this. So like what I'm going to do for y'all Let's just play a video for y'all real quick, man. And this is another country in London saying that everybody's been programmed through fucking roots, bro. I seen this on TikTok, so I had to download it. Because there was a black woman, a modern day African American, you know what I'm saying, living in London, and they aired it on her news channel. So she recorded it and put it on TikTok. You know, and in every country, when you say that you're black, they're gonna look at you like, what? It's only in America that the black and white thing that actually exists. So like, that's what I'm saying. When niggas need to wake up, y'all need to like actually wake up now, bro. Like you're not African American, and like it's so hard. Like all my fucking cool ass people that's trendy and shit and social that I connect with. Like I try to tell y'all not African American, but you go on based off what the colonizers tell you, and I can't make you see. But this is the best way I can help you see.
You know, I find it so ironic. Look what they got airing in London on their news channel.
Let me explain. The current American education states African Americans were brought to America as slaves from Africa, which is simply not true. They are American indigenous, not descendants of Africans. As they say, the truth is stranger than fiction. Although this fact isn't spoken of openly, it's not a secret. However, with programming such as Roots, 12 Years a Slave, The African American Story, and The Book of Negroes, is it any wonder why so many African Americans are confused? We won't address all the misleading DNA tests being provided to connect African Americans to Africa. So, the argument is, do they continue identifying as African Americans, which is a fake identity for them, or embrace being identified as indigenous Americans?
Are there any consequences of choosing one identity over the other?
William, that's a good question. According to African Americans Ain't Africans Facebook forum, identifying as African American is to quietly relinquish ancestral connections to America. Connections that go back hundreds.
So they out here telling everybody else the truth, but not y'all. But we are trying to help y'all, and y'all don't believe us. This is our history we talking about, our lineage. We're trying to help y'all put the pieces to y'all puzzle.
Since 1942.
Quechua with Quechua history.
I am the Kituwa the leader of the Alabama Georgia Kituwa Society. We are the full-blooded ancient Kituwa people that live in this area and forever. And we were removed from our area in 1836 by some famous president of the United States, Kennedy, and his family. They did a fantastic job removing us, and they expanded us all around 19 different colonies. So right now, I'm so grateful and so fortunate to know that I have all these months and years, I've been looking for someone that's standing up for Alabama side, which I'm from Alabama. I'm from Union Spring, Alabama. I'm a Ford and a Lynn from Union Spring, Alabama. And I would like for us, once again, to unify as the United Band of Kituwa people.
Alright, y'all, I'm out here biking and shit. I just wanted to show y'all something. Like my melanin, y'all see how it's like a red and like reddish brown, and it's kind of like a gold reddish brown, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just from me being in the sun. I can't make this up. This don't happen to a lot of black people, but I'm actually aboriginal. I'm native. I got Cherokee in my blood. But like, this the other hand, man. Look at that. You can see the red and the brown. And people look at this, like white people, and be like, oh, you're black. Nigga, you don't see this shit.